Hey folks, you can listen to Idioms on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, Breaker, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, and Google Podcasts. And welcome to Idioms episode 19. I'm your host, David Dyer, and Idioms is my mini-cast, 5 minutes at the most, about the same time it takes to get thrown out of your company Christmas party. And as the name implies, I talk about idioms, those phrases we say in everyday conversation that seem completely out of place, yet you know exactly what they mean by the way they're being used. Good, so let's go. This is Idioms episode 19, and the idiom we're going to cover today is the whole 9 yards. You've heard it. I told him he wasn't ready for it. I said, Jerry, you hardly ever drink and this stuff is 100 proof. But nope, he gave me that defiant look and said, give me the whole 9 yards. Literal meaning, to reference the entire 27 feet of something. Contextual meaning, to give someone all of it, the full measure, the beans. No holding back, you ninnies. So let's explore the origin. Goodness gracious, this one has just about as many origin theories as Mickey Rourke has career setbacks. Is it from Scotland, World War II, concrete trucks? Is it 3 feet? Is it a yard of fabric, a yard arm? Whatever it is, this is for sure. This idiom is the one that elicits more questions than any other and delivers the most ambiguous responses. I'm going to use our good old friends at phrases.org.uk as a launching point because I think it's important to note that they say the first evidence of the phrase in print was in a newspaper from Indiana called the Mitchell Commercial and their edition on May 2nd, 1907. Because they had an article about a baseball game that read, "The regular 9 is going to play the businessmen as many innings as they can stand, but we cannot promise the full 9 yards." The reason this is important because this establishes a timeline that may help clarify the validity of some of the other theories. And todayifoundit.com, who's the only resource we're going to use today, lays it out beautifully and gives us several of the more popular theories we're going to discuss. One theory is that it came from machine gun magazines that were used during World War II because they were roughly 27 feet long and soldiers were encouraged to give the enemy the whole 9 yards. I love the sound of this idea, but it's 30 to 35 years after it was used in the Mitchell commercial, so the phrase was already around long before that. Sorry, Luke. Another theory is that it takes 9 yards of fabric to make a custom suit or a ceremonial kilt. However, neither of those require anywhere near 9 yards of cloth, and if its origin was in the making of a kilt, that would make it a Scottish phrase, and one of the things etymologists do agree on is that it's definitely an American saying and only caught on in the UK later. So, no. Some say the average capacity of a concrete truck is 9 yards, so that's where it came from. Well, that's the average capacity of larger concrete trucks that were made in the 1980s and later. But the capacity of the trucks used in the 1950s and 60s, when the phrase was starting to gain popularity, was 6.5 yards. So, again, sorry. Or, rather than a unit of measurement, yard refers to yard arms used on square-rigged ships from which the sails were hung. But square-rigged ships were not used in the 50s and 60s when people started saying this, and most of those ships used way more than 9 yard arms. Not even close. And one last stab at it. In medieval times, the era, not the restaurant, people would be asked to take 9 steps over hot coals to prove their innocence about something. Now people do it at motivational retreats so their neighbors can confirm they're the nut jobs they always thought they were. I wish I had a better conclusion for you folks, I really do. This is kind of like the ending of the movie Inception where there really isn't an ending. To be honest, that movie ended for me about an hour before the credits rolled when I stopped caring what level they were on. Or who cares? But look on the bright side. We've established one thing, and that's this. Moving forward, if this ever comes up at a dinner party, at least you'll be able to shut down the know-it-all who has all the answers just because he read an incomplete education. You can lie in wait like a jaguar, and just as he utters such and such about machine gunners in World War II, you can verbally pounce on his words and give that moron the whole 9 yards about how wrong he is. Then you'll have your own origin story. So that's it. Episode 19 of Idioms is complete, all 27 feet of it. I'm your host, David Dyer. Thanks for listening. Check back for new episodes every Tuesday and Friday, but until then, I'll catch you on the flip side.